I got my Astros hat on. I got my Astros jersey on because the Astros signed this guy on Friday.
One strike away. Hader to Freeman. He's struck out! For the first time in 24 years, the San Diego Padres are headed to the National League Championship Series.
How about that? Josh Hader striking out the Los Angeles Dodgers back in the 2022 postseason to get the Padres to the NLCS. Friday. What a Friday news dump that came right after your boy, in the middle of a pump-up speech about the Houston Texans, poked Jim Crane, said, hey, you little bitch, how about you spend some money on Josh Hader? Jim Crane and I, who are friends and can talk to each other like that. What? We've done a show in studio before 12 years ago. I'm sure he remembers me. I'm sure he remembers me and knows, like, oh, yeah, that's the really good football player that didn't make it to the NFL, but now he talks about sports for a living.
Yeah, and 12 years ago, I mean, you're before all the fame and glory. You're,
I was a radio prodigy then.
Yeah, you got in on the ground level for the Astros.
I was the youngest talk show host to have a daily show in the history of Houston sports radio.
Wow.
I'm going to make that up. I don't think there's any way to check it, but at
absolutely
24 years old, doing a daily show, your boy, a prodigy. He got to sit down in a studio and ask Jim Crane the hard-hitting questions like, what are the uniforms going to look like?
Being in the AL, that's crazy, huh?
Feels good to get away from the Cardinals, huh? So the Astros signed Josh Hader to a massive contract. I'm shocked by how much this was. 5 years, $95 million. We knew he was looking for a lot. We heard that the Astros were in on the conversations. But it's hard to say, wait, they're in on these conversations. Seriously? They're looking to spend when they had never given out a contract like that in free agency. Not to guys in-house, not to guys leaving. Nope, they don't do that. But Josh Hader, they decide to break open the piggy bank, and it does give them a pretty intimidating 3 pitchers to close a game. Will Hader be the closer? I think that remains to be seen. You spend that kind of money, though, Edwin Diaz money. I think that is the expectation. And in that moment right there, that's exactly what Josh Hader did. He's a guy that they usually use in the 7th inning. And he is a damn good reliever. But I am curious as to moving into that role, how he theoretically handles that. Astros owner Jim Crane on the deal. We think we have a good team. It adds a big piece to the back of our bullpen, which obviously lost Kendall Graveman. With Presley, Abreu, and Hader, you have 3 quality guys, 7, 8, 9, whenever they pitch. We think it gives us a nice chance to get to the playoffs and make a run at another World Series. He, of course, Josh Hader, was a member of the Astros. He was the minor league pitcher of the year in 2014. He was traded in 2015 for Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers. Yikes. That one did not work out so well. Sometimes you mess up on trades like the Dodgers and Yordan Alvarez. Like, these things do happen.
We're righting the wrong.
The wrong has been
righted.
The wrong has been righted, I think.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, you get what we're trying to say here. Yeah.
Josh Hader, product of the Astros development system, is back.
Shout out to Jeff Luhnow. Tip of the cap. Another victory for Jeff Luhnow. Dana Brown, maybe they're not done based off of what he said at a Astros media something. I'm not really 100% sure what it was. It wasn't media day, but it was like Astros media get-together where you heard from Alex Bregman, you heard from Lance McCullers. Dana Brown on whether or not the Astros would perhaps pursue more deals this offseason.
I say we're always active. Even during the season, when we have our thought process, we come in to the front office every day looking for opportunities. We have Matt Hogan up there. He's always, giving me ideas and different things like that. So we're always in the market of trying to improve the team. And when we get an open door, we're going to do it. And so we're literally still talking to teams. And we're still talking to agents. So, what comes of that, we'll see. But we're always in the market to get better.
And with that in mind, I have a couple of questions. They're the subject of today in our Houston Astros countdown to spring training pitchers and catchers reporting.
It's always Astros time in Houston. Are you ready to play?
A lot of people were wondering what it was going to be like if the Astros didn't win the division. I guess we'll never know.
We're counting you down to the Astros pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training in West Palm Beach.
Give me that bone. So, you are 21 days away from February 12th, the greatest number 21 in Houston Astros history. Terry Puel, who played here from 1977 to 1990. He played 14 of his 15 major league seasons in Houston. He hit .281 with 62 homers, 435 runs batted in, and he had one of the greatest postseason performances at the plate in the 1980 National League Championship Series when he hit .526. How about that?
Andy Pettitte, too. I mean, he only pitched for like three or so years here. But
Yainer Diaz.
Yainer Diaz, there we go.
Number 21. We're getting closer and closer and closer.
Soon to be retired for Yainer Diaz.
Yeah, it might be.
Not to put pressure on him. Yeah.
Thanks for hurting his numbers, Dusty Baker and Martin Maldonado. Blah. So, my question is if this is going to hurt their ability to re-sign the key players. And if they actually are doing as Dana Brown, who was a politician, suggested, potentially still calling about guys like Blake Snell, who's still available. Or calling Scott Boras about re-signing Alex Bregman. Or re-signing Jose Altuve. Or re-signing Kyle Tucker. I like that the Astros had the balls to make this move happen. And then I am not preaching fiscal responsibility to any baseball owner. I will lick Jim Crane's boot today and say that, hey, he decided that he wants to go into the luxury tax, go over the collective balance tax threshold. And now they're going to have to pay a little bit extra. They're going to lose money for their international pool. They're going to lose a draft pick. And they're just spending a bleep ton of money here. So do you keep on spending? Do you say F it and try to get Blake Snell at the expense of a Bregman and a Tucker? Because they would definitely come at the expense of those two. I'm open to it. I am curious if Jim Crane's got any more aggression left in him. I'm impressed by what they did, though, with this move on Friday. It felt like they were backed into a corner because of the Kendall Graveman move. And instead of giving that money to Hector Neris, who I love, but had one good season with the Astros where he's truly set himself apart, to give the money to somebody who's 30 years old, okay, maybe a little bit dangerous, especially if it's a 5-year contract worth $95 million. But this is a more effective and smart gamble, I think. 5 years, $95 million, than 3 years and what would have been, sounds like $50 million for Hector Neris. That's what he's looking for right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're betting on a better horse, so to speak. You know, you're betting more, but you feel better about Josh Hader than you do Hector Neris. It is interesting, the idea that once you already break the seal of going over the competitive balance tax, like, does Jim Crane just go, well, if we're going to go over it, I'm not saying he's going to spin like the Mets or something, or
right,
you know, even the Rangers like last year. But I do wonder if this makes it easier to be like, well, if we're probably going to be over it, or we're going to be over it already, and probably at least 3 of the next 5 years, something like that. Like, why not bring back Altuve and Bregman, or Tucker and Altuve, or some combination of the, we talk about the 3 guys that are coming up here soon between Bregman, Altuve, and Bregman. It's like, at first we were thinking bring one of them back. Now might be bring 2 of them back if you're comfortable going over the tax already.
Right, and how long Crane will be willing to do that?
Probably not super long.
Who would be if the Mets owner, Steve Cohen, wasn't willing to do that, if he's stripping parts after the big spending spree that he had before this past season?
That team stunk, though. It's one thing to be expensive and stink. It's one thing to be expensive and make the ALCS every year.
That's 100% true. But if this thing does hit the fan, I am curious as to how long Crane would stomach this. But ballsy move on Friday, and at least it gives us something to be happy about today as the Texans season came to an end on Saturday.
Jim Crane, Dana Brown, tip of the cap.
Tip of the cap.
Good job.
Good job by you.